Let the recording start. Okay. So we'll take for any kind of automation, or you can take any kind of software development. There will be a testing deck. Test cases. How many of you are from testing background here? Anyone? Yes, no. Is anyone from testing background? Okay, then my life is easier. If there are people from testing background, they will ask more questions. Okay. Yeah. So we'll have this particular format. Like, see, this format is not like static, like this is the only format that we need to follow. This is not something like that, but the data can be changed and the format can be changed. But the ideal details are same. Test case ID or test scenario, test case, precondition, test steps, test data. Okay, expected result. So after completion of activity, post condition, actual result, status, pass or fail. Okay. So we'll take a simple calculator as an example, and or else we will take our um, what's the project name that we have did this last week or this week?
Yes, yeah.
Supply chain management.
Right.
Project name. Okay. Let's add created by date of creation. Okay. Approved by. Okay. So project name is supply chain management. So what I'll do is I will just try to add the details in our files so that we will be able to get it. So here we have week 3, supply chain management and file. And shit. I'm not sure why all of a sudden everyone thinks only on one single day. Okay. Test cases. Test document. So who creates these documents? Any idea in the project team who will create these documents? Developer create the document and user fill the. Your voice is not clear, sorry.
hear me?
No.
Yeah, so developer create that document and send to the user. So after the testing,
Not
they can
exactly.
see.
Can be created by business analyst or test lead or developer or team lead. Anyone. Okay. So testing can be done by only by again depends on the requirement, but anyone can create this document. Okay. Now date of creation, Control J, and approved by should be written. So first one, precondition test scenario module. Okay, steps, expected result, everything. So let's go back and see the presentation. Okay. So this is scenario, but before scenario, we have test case ID. Where is test case ID? Did I delete it? Test case ID. Who's joining the meeting? Someone is trying to join the meeting. Srikanth.
Yeah, Vajrang, I think I'm facing some issue with my Teams.
Okay, just okay. So this is test ID 001. So we'll just try to add all the details. Like we'll just add all the details. Test scenario. So here we are trying to map like verify login on Gmail, verify login on Gmail. Okay, so here test scenario, verify login, SCM application, open. Okay, so navigate to SCM URL. Precondition is nothing. Test steps, browser should open. Chrome must be opened. Okay, and what else do we need? Do we need anything else?
Open SCM application number.
Correct. So you should also add this one, font options. I'm just trying if I can add any line numbers. Okay. Chrome and opened. And what else do we have? We have SCM URL must be opened. Test data, SCM URL. Expected result.
SCM website should be loaded successfully.
Surface of SCM web app. Must be loaded. Post condition. Like after happening this, what should happen? Nothing. After happening this, Post condition. Post condition, what browser should be open? Or you can say nothing because we are opening browser as well in this step, right? Not applicable. Actual result you need to see and pass or fail. Okay, so like this, can you guys write? We will have modules as well, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, the scenario, this is login of this particular item. Then navigation to SCM module. Or you can just say this one, UiPath automation. What is the URL, by the way?
rpsamples.com.
RPS samples, right? So here we can just write RPS samples. Application open. Navigate to RPS samples URL. We can just change this one. So to just make things clear. We need to have RPS samples URL and RPS samples website must open. Post condition must see SCM module. Okay, if we see SCM module, then it is successful. Home, RAM. Okay. It's a module. Okay, now you guys add all the test cases. Let's work together. What are the testings that should be done? Just everyone write along with me so that we will load a bunch of test cases. You want me to pull you all in? P. Yeah, I'm not the only one who will be working. You should also work. And write some test cases. Everyone should write. I don't want one person to stop and one person to write. Everyone, at least write test scenario. What do you want to achieve? So I will write a samples application close. You freeze panes. Just can you wait for a second? I'll just try to add this into sheet 2 so that here we'll have only the data. Oh, what happened? Yeah, here we have only the data. In sheet 2, we have test details. This is document history. Okay, now I can freeze pane. Yeah, go ahead. Right. I'm seeing Damodar, Devendra, yes. Sai Kiran. What about others? Where are you? Priyanka has workbook open. What are you doing, Priyanka? And workbook open. You should make some updates. We have close to 8 members in the team. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. At least 7 should update. Not leaving you. I can see all the changes. Everyone are writing only positive test cases. What about next negative test cases? Sai Kiran?
Yeah, Vajrang.
So internal name or external name containing alphabets only. So you need not check the like if the application accepts it or not. Are you verifying if the application accepts it or not, or what are you testing?
Yeah, actually, the application is already accepting it, but our automation should raise business exception in case it containing any numbers or special characters.
So application is already throwing an error.
No, application is like I mean that website is not throwing any error.
So no, you need not check it.
Oh, okay.
So a business rule is something that you create for yourself. You should not check for the functionality of the application. Then you are doing application testing, not automation testing.
Okay, okay.
Did you understand the difference?
Yeah, I understand that. Okay.
Like if
So
you are testing if the
technically,
application is working or not properly, and if you are testing if the application is accepting the input, specific input, if the application is not accepting so and so input, then you are actually testing the application.
mm, yeah, like you
Okay.
mean the technically, right? Technically, it is accepting.
Yeah, technically it's accepting. So why are you concerned?
Okay.
I'm just searching a negative test case as well to just give you an idea.
And actually, in the website, it is for account photo. It is mentioned that only .jpg and .png files and 500 KB maximum file size. But the website is accepting any type of file, even though if the size is greater than 500 KB. So, will it come under automation testing or the functional testing?
So while uploading the file, you should see if the file size is greater than 500 or less than 500. So you should not see if if the browser is throwing an exception or not.
Okay.
Like while uploading, like you will get the file path, right?
Right.
With
Yeah.
that file path, you need to check with the properties.
Yeah.
Okay. If the file path is greater than 500, just throw it as an exception before filling.
That is a negative exception, right? I mean, that is a negative test case, right?
Yeah, yes, correct. Okay, let's just stop. Okay, so see, this is to give you an idea of what is a test template and how to work with this. But within last 15 to 20 minutes, how many test cases were we able to write? Close to 17, let's assume. Okay, so for these test cases, you should also verify the negative test case as well. Like what if the data is not entered? If the data is entered, it's going to the next step. But what if the data is not entered? Are you able to validate it? What exactly is it doing? Now here, if you go into the first item, can you see the first test case? Everyone? So in the first test case, we are checking with RPA sample applications open. That is a test scenario. But the actual test case is navigate to RPA samples URL is failed. Precondition nothing. Chrome must be opened, but invalid URL must be sent. Like for example, there is a URL, but that's not RPA samples URL. There is some other URL. We are not able to navigate. Wrong RPA samples website URL must be sent. Okay, throw an exception to an email with some email with a screenshot. And what should stop the execution because we cannot continue further. So what is the actual result? Are we getting an email with screenshot? And is the bot stopping execution? Actual result. Bot sent email with exception. So test cases, is it pass or fail? Is it a test case passed or failed?
Pass.
Okay. Now here is a detail. Like actual result, bot sent an email without exception. Now is the test case pass or fail?
Failed.
Yeah. Why?
Fail.
Yeah, failed to send exceptions.
We are able to send the email, but without exception screenshot.
Yeah.
Okay. So these are the test cases that we need to validate or that we need to verify. Yep. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. So now just understand our solution while giving the estimations. It's not just about writing the code for success scenarios. We should write the code to handle the negative scenarios. We should write the code to make sure that automation gets successful and we are able to find the appropriate results. The initial days, the mistake that I have done, I have written the happy test case, and I started the bot. And I said to clients that, okay, the bot started. And what exactly have happened is for the next 2 to 3 weeks, I sat with the bot. I monitored it for every 5 minutes or for every 10 minutes, though it's a unattended bot. And I'm trying to sit and execute and debug and give the code to client or the solution because client is not interested in finding what's happening. He's just interested in getting some result out of it. Until that is not an application exception from his end, he will not be ready to listen because he paid us to create an automation, right? If we are not able to deliver, it's a problem or fault from our end. It's not their end. Okay, so this was the mistake that I did. Like I just, okay, if there is application open, okay, I went ahead and I started it. Application open, done. So if that is failed, what should I do? Should I send an exception email? I haven't written the code for it. Okay, so here you have written like, I'll just add few details like select industry, image file, scenario, navigate to SCM. This is fine. And here we are adding all these details. Now input date should be added. Now what if input date, how are you validating if it is the correct date? Okay, so you may ask me, should I add element exists to each and every item? Like, okay, I entered this top item, like, okay, I entered the name. Should I use element exist to check it? And I entered the date. Should I add element exist for the date? So ideal scenario with this robot, you will not be able to see some scenarios will be something like this. Some applications will not allow blank values. Like if you send or if you hit a send or save button, it will throw a pop-up. So after filling all the items, if you click on save, if you are able to send it or save it, and if you are getting some notification, and if you are able to identify that the particular file is uploaded, or if the particular item is uploaded, then that's a proper like successful item. But if there is any pop-up that came in, and we need to validate that error message, not each and every item. We need to see if the navigation is successful or the next step that it is happening. Is it successful or did you throw any error? Now, did you understand what should you check? Or not? See, these RPA samples websites or some test websites, they don't have any kind of validations in place. But if you go into actual applications, each and everything will be validated from the application end itself. No one will just write a input box and they will not save it in the database. That's not how things will work in actual world. Okay, so you need to see if there are any exceptions that are raised, or you need to see if there are any pop-ups that came in. Okay, so these kind of tests you need to do. Now here, how will you test? Let's only test the first test scenario. Okay, we will take one of the application. Okay, so how many of you have completed the SCM website automation? Don't say you haven't done it. At least one I need. I need you to run the code, that's it. So I can share your screen, please.
Yeah, okay.
So we'll also try to do the code testing as well here. We'll just test the first scenario. Okay, start
Okay.
the bot. And do you know what? Testers will not be given access for Studio.
Oh. Okay, I think I need to upload it to Orchestrator.
Yes, you need to upload it to an orchestrator. Their job is only to run it from orchestrator, nothing else.
Okay.
Because they cannot see the code, right? They cannot see how the code is written. They cannot see what's happening. All they need to go is they need to go with the logs and the emails that they're going to receive.
Okay.
Okay. Now,
Okay.
where did you add the URL?
Like directly in the code itself.
So that's the first mistake. Okay, so all the URLs, all the assets, like all the dynamic values should be added in the orchestrator as assets.
Okay.
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 So if you are doing something like this, then it's wrong, basically. Like your code will not go through the code testing or UAT phase, like for code. The code will
Okay.
not be through.
Okay, I will add them.
Now, for more understanding, I will tell you what's needed. So if you click on analyze file, give it access. Click on analyze file. Like if in an interview, if someone asks you, how will you test your code? So I will use UiPath tools to test like analyze file, analyze project. Like if there are workflow and other settings, I can test it. So what I'll do, I will just validate the file.
Okay.
So validation will give me all the errors.
Okay.
Warnings or errors, anything. So for example, if you can see here. So argument of operand, the activity bound to expression contains activity. So where is it? Init all applications. So let's go to this application. Should open. Why is it not opening? Scope, project, all rules. Yes. Let's try to validate, analyze the project. Analyze project. Let's. Okay. Now, when you analyze, these are the errors list that you got. Okay. Now you can ignore warnings for now, but this one, large ID in selectors. When you double click it,
No.
HR manager, properties. Okay, so what exactly is it saying? Output. It's not output. Error list.
Error list.
In IDX in selectors, selector from link activity contains large IDX. Threshold is 2. So IDX value is should not exceed 2. That's the basic requirement.
Okay.
So if you are opening this one, opening the selected tag,
Select it.
so what is the IDX value? 3.
3.
Okay, so you should find if there is any other way how you can do it. Open UI Explorer. Is the application open?
Yeah, yeah, it's open in the 4th tab.
Okay. Now just go back and let's just verify this one. So
Can you close and reopen again?
validate. I think this is fine. Okay, close and reopen it.
Yeah, I think this UI Explorer not loaded.
Just click on close and open it again from you.
Oh, yeah.
Close, open in UI Explorer.
Yeah.
Okay, now it opened. So what is this one?
Yeah, but
With visual tree, what is this one? See, we are not able to navigate properly, right? In Chrome UiPath demo, it can select anything. Maybe it's opening something in this one. Like I will just click on new supplier. Then I will go back and see. Validate. Now it is validating. Highlight. So it's clicking on this third link, right?
yes.
So instead of this third link, let's see. See, the third link will always not be third link. Like HR manager, we need to select HR manager, right? That's what you have selected.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
will not
That's
always be this link. Like it will not always be on the third level. Okay. So the best option is you need to indicate an anchor and like you can see job title, right?
yes.
With job title, which is static. You need to identify. Okay, let's just wait. Okay, now if you see, there is some ID and some selector. This is a span that's coming in. Okay, now if you are seeing, this is the button. When you are clicking on something, you should select buttons, not the span items.
Okay.
Okay, so CSS selector, link page button. So this is also a button. So just see if you can do something with a button. If you can see here, this is a button. Because button will have a click property, not link. That's fine. If you want to do this, this is okay. But span is fine. You need to click on link. Inner text should be link. And CSS selector can be ignored. Or you can directly ignore this one. Okay, so it's going to IDX7. So if you see here, this IDX7 is also wrong. It is not accepting more than 2, right? You need to select more static value, that is HR manager. Now, when you select HR manager, there is only one HR manager. And you can select inner text as well. Now, coming to this one, you can ignore the IDX because IDX may change and the A name can be link. Now, validate. So this test case and all you should write for yourself first. Now, if you are highlighting, it will come as correct item. Sorry, I think I just need to hit on save. Can you click hit on save, please?
Yeah.
Okay, now if you go back and save it, validate, remove, analyze project. So there are no
Oh,
more errors. You have
okay.
only warnings now. Okay, so all these are warnings. Like if you see here, they are deeply nested display name duplication.
Mm. Yeah.
Okay, like there are too many sequences. Sequence, sequence, sequence. You did not
Mm.
change anything. Okay, now activity defaults. Activity names are defaults, like kill process has a default name. It will navigate. So you just need
Okay.
to change it. Kill Chrome. Kill process,
Kill
Chrome
Chrome.
process.
Okay.
Okay. So this is how a, like, it will not be, we will see best practices. We will also see something like this. Like if you have created variables, what are the naming conventions? So this is a string, right?
Yeah.
But you did not add str upfront.
Okay.
If it is string, then you should add str. If it is data
Oh.
table, dt. If it is integer, int.
Mm.
By looking at the name, you can see. And here, this is a chain case, or sorry, this is not even camel case. So if you see, a camel case will be something like this. Only str will be on this one and initial I. So on every word, it will be a caps. Every word will
Cap
start from capital R.
capital. Okay.
Path.
Okay.
Now, even for this naming conventions, you have variables details. So if you see here, naming convention, you will have the details. See, naming variable naming convention. Okay, it should contain something with pattern dt or anything with this one. Like it should start with something. So where is this one? Photo name. So this is a
Mm.
string, right?
Right. Right.
So str underscore.
Okay.
Okay, and what is the pattern here? It can contain numbers. Okay, it can contain anything from A to Z,
Alphabets, numbers.
alphabets plus numbers.
Mm.
Like you cannot have something like photo one name. It should be photo name and then one or two or anything else.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so these are the things that we need to see. Naming convention, you need to see variable naming convention, argument naming convention. Like if there is an argument, it should always be in underscore item.
Mm.
Okay, in some conditions, we will also write something like this. If it is queue item, this is config, right? So we
Yeah.
will also write something like this: output screenshot path, output out underscore str screenshot path,
Okay. Capital P, capital S.
capital P and capital S.
Okay.
So what this exactly means is there is an out argument with string. So I need to send an out argument that is of type string, and this is the string name, like the variable name. Okay,
Oh.
so you can see all the variable details over here. Warnings, you can just check with the warnings. Argument,
Okay.
condition of activity if. So I'm not sure why this is available. You can just check in the file correctly
Yeah.
where exactly it's available and you can check. Okay,
Okay.
so like this, we will do the code testing. So code testing will be done. Then the actual testing, like the test cases that you have written, will be taken up. UAT is a complete different scenario. They will test only the, they will give you the test data and they will ask you to run it. If the test data is successful, then they are okay. If the test data is not successful, then they will throw errors. Like they will not give a go ahead. To
Okay.
move the environment to the next item. Okay,
Mm.
so that's it for today. So any questions or anything?
Yeah, Vajrang, I think we have few questions.
Srikanth, you have questions? Can you speak a bit louder?
Vajrang. I think if others can drop out, it's fine. I think we want to discuss. Yeah.
Go ahead, Srikanth, if you want to talk. If you want to talk separately, privately.
Yes. I think
Okay.
Kirtan also wanted to talk. Yeah.
What, you both want to talk together or what?
No, just for queries. So it's we thought that we
Go
can
ahead.
talk. Yeah.
If that is anything related to project, you can go ahead and ask.
Yeah, Vajrang. Actually, in my organization, we are working on Citrix environment.
Okay.
So till now, I think we have learned like basics. We just wanted to work like in more complex scenarios in projects, and if we get any hands-on experience in Citrix environment and all, it will be good for
Can you share your screen with Citrix environment? I will take a session on that.
It is in my company's laptop.
That's the problem, buddy. Everyone will
Yeah.
have the same problem. So
Yeah.
first thing I can give you, how can you do that? Like
Mm.
there is Citrix automation available for you. But a thing that you need to do is you have the Citrix automation, right?
Yeah.
Citrix.
Yeah.
You need to install this in this, and there will be Citrix runtime that you need to install in the remote desktop.
Okay.
Okay. So when you do that, now when we are having something like a application, right? We are having app name and web application or something. If you
Mm.
observe here, this is HTTP, HTML, right?
Yes.
So before this one, there will be one more selector called Citrix.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the only thing. Remaining things are like same. Like you can just read the text data, read text, and you can just map it, and write text or type into. You can just map it. Things are same. Only thing is you just need to add an add-on. That's it.
Okay.
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 Yeah. Srikanth, what about you?
Yeah. So also, Vajrang, I think if we can work on some other use cases where we are reading some document, maybe PDF, like some kind of a document
We
extraction.
have API testing to
Yeah.
be done, buddy. We have
Okay.
API automation to be done next, I think tomorrow, from tomorrow, day after tomorrow.
Okay. So the only reason is like there is some POC going on, I think, and they may consider UiPath also, I think, in my organization. So they are looking for the some kind of a document extraction or API calls and all. So I just wanted to discuss. So I think if we
Yeah, document understanding and all cannot be covered like as a complete project.
Mhm, mhm.
Okay, that is a simple one day activity. Did you start working on document understanding, or have you checked with document understanding in UiPath Academy or not, Srikanth?
No, I have not reached that point, but I'm trying to complain. But I just wanted to
Yeah.
understand. Yeah.
Okay. See, the thing with document understanding is those are 4 or 5 hour activities. That's it. 4 or 5
Okay.
activities. So if you go into home and if you start with a new document understanding framework, so there will be more here. Trigger based automation, RP automation. There is one more template called document understanding. Let's see if you have
Yeah. It is.
Yes.
document understanding process. It is directly from UiPath. Use this template. So like RE framework, this is also a template.
Mhm.
Okay. You can directly add this template, or in RE framework, you can add this as a like a process
Okay.
separately. So before we do this, what you can do is go to UiPath Academy.
Mhm.
first complete the module and get the certification.
Okay.
And try it once, then we'll come and work on this if required.
Sure, Vajra. Yeah.
Because these are again activities. If we go and select each and every activity, we will not be able to cover the projects, IPA projects and all.
Okay.
Let's just see with this format and template, then we'll close for today.
Okay.
So Srikanth, you worked already on automation anywhere, right?
Yes, Vajra. Yeah.
How easy is it to learn UiPath since you're
It's
already working?
no, it's completely different in terms of the what you call tool wise or commands wise. But I think maybe a matter of few weeks. I think you'll understand. But in terms of functionality, it's same. Only thing is the
Yes.
way the sequences, or you can say how you're trying to build, is different. In automation, it's like a sequence of lines. Even though you have workflow, it is
Yeah.
like a sequence of lines. Okay, so you can actually understand which line is what it is doing. Here it is a sequence of activities, drag and drop. Yeah.
If you want to see sequence of lines, then outline window is the correct place.
Correct. I got you. Yeah. But this is more like open span, Vajrang. I think I worked on other tools as well. So this is like more like an open span. I think you can just drag and drop
You can
activities.
see
Yeah.
something like this in OpenSpan, OpenRPA.
Right.
All these are built on Microsoft Workflow Foundation. If you go to UiPath, Microsoft Visual Studio, and if you add a package, like we can add packages, right?
Yes.
If you add Windows Workflow Foundation as a module, then everything will be same.
Right.
Okay, let's try to open main workflow. Okay, so here we need to read the config, initialize process. So these are the steps. Okay, so getting one transaction item or the path. So first we need to digitize the document, like we need to make sure that the document is in readable format.
Okay.
Okay, then classify the document, and these are again having the steps. So for classification, you have separate step, how to classify it, and there are steps. Then classifications rule check, like if it is successful or not. If not, validate and train classifiers. So for example, if we are trying to get invoices and all of a sudden we got a receipt. Okay, now that cannot fall under the document, like the classified document. Then
Right.
we need to validate and train the classifier. Then we need to process the document again. And finally end the process. I haven't checked it once, but I know the flow. So maybe we can check, or you can ideally take a session if you are interested. No problem for me.
Real
Okay.
time getting. Yeah. Yeah.
Don't just go for real time. Always real time is something that you do in your test environments or you learn here.
Right.
Okay. Just take some invoice, try to extract some data, take some receipt and compare. That's it.
Sure.
Okay. Okay, all the best everyone for today, and let's see, maybe today is Thursday, right, for you. We'll see API automation and how to work with API automation, how to work with APIs. How many of you know how to work with APIs? Raise the hand. How many of you
Uh,
know how to work with
I have
APIs?
basic idea, Vajrang, like get HTTP request and deserialize JSON, those things. And, but I haven't done any. I don't have any hands-on experience.
Okay, fine. So from tomorrow we can see API automation as well. Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Yes. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.